All right. Greetings, family. Coming out doing the video. And man, I had a live stream plan for talking about child support and overcoming it. Unfortunately, I didn't have my act together. And let's talk about it, right? So, again, I want to send out my sincerest apologies to the Liquid Theory. Daniel. Saying we had a chance to talk on the phone a couple times. He, really great guy. Really personable. Had a great conversation with him and everything. I could tell he was a bit put off by the fact that I didn't have everything together like I was supposed to, and I did not. And again, I send my apologies out to Daniel and stuff like that. I'm really looking forward to providing this information to the people, getting to some of the root of the information that's out here and how to have some of this information discarded and have some of it, serve you at its best. So that was the intention that was to go, right? Many people say let your first impression be your best impression, and that is true. But if you need to make a second impression, make your second impression a better impression than the first impression. You got it? You know what I mean? Because if the first one ain't good, you can't just eat off that because you're not going to get anywhere with being stuck in the past. So you just have to rekindle your relationships, whatever, work through it, work it out, as long as it's good with other person. So I'm definitely reaching out to Daniel again to try to get this thing together for you guys, man. And, hey, help y'all out, and no one is trying to, you know, tear down women. At least not on my platform, whatever. No one is trying to help men escape their responsibilities to their children. Because as men, we should take care of our children, but it is a joint responsibility. It's not all on the man. It's a joint responsibility to be shared by equal parties, right? I definitely do not ever want to see, whether a child is mine or not, a child go hungry or be homeless, and then there not be something in place to help that mother and that child, right? But there does need to be some responsibility to it, right? And how do we create that responsibility, right? By engaging in the process of what's going on. You have a lot of guys that tell you this and they tell you that, and how to beat child support and how to beat family court and etc. whatever. But is it really about that? Because I'm gonna tell you right now, that system of family court and child support is never going to go away. So if you think that's going to happen, then you're thinking wrong, right? And on that note, the question is how to make it balanced and fair so that it serves everyone in the process and way that it's supposed to serve everyone, so that everybody is protected and no one individual is taken advantage of. And the best advice I can give to men is to stay out of that system. You have nothing better to do than to go to court and fight and study law and battle it out or whatever, then go forward. But what I'm telling men or whatever is to be responsible with your privates. To be profitable with who you share your DNA with. You got men out here telling other men like, hey, date multiple women, have women in your rotation and stuff like that. And I'm going to tell you that that's disgusting. Because as a man, at my mature age now, right? When I was young, I kind of thought the same way or whatever, right? But these are full-grown men my age and maybe a little younger, maybe a little older, telling men to date multiple women. That's your thing, then go for it, right? But I am not knowingly going to want to, and I say knowingly, right? Because you never know what the other person is doing. One can go by what their word is, right? But I'm not knowingly going to go after a woman who I know. If I have her in the rotation, then most likely she has me in the rotation. If she has a man and I go after her, well, no, she has a man, whatever, I'm not going to do that. Because number one, and which is number two, is that I do not want to mix my body fluids with her body fluids and his body fluids. You know what I mean? That's disgusting. Protection or no protection on. I don't want to experience being with a woman who's being with another man or whatever, the things that they're doing, and I'm coming to her and doing things I'm doing with her, whatever, and all our body fluids is just co-mingling and mixing to make multicolored Kool-Aid or whatever. Yeah. So that's real talk. But back to the point, right? So there were a lot of questions that had lined up for him that I want to ask and get into regarding this matter, right? 'Cause you have a lot of different views, different perspectives, different standings out there, whatever about how the situation is handled. So we were going to streamline what those positions were, you know. Um, and a bit off topic for a moment, right? It's funny, right? Because I'm thinking about these bigger channels or whatever. They will watch smaller channels and they will come at them sideways because you make a comment, you make a video, put their name in it, whatever. Like you ain't supposed to mention their name, and then you see them mention everybody else's name, and then they'll take your topic or your content because they have a larger viewing, twist it and put it into their content and then expand on it, right? It's very interesting when I see that go down, right? But I'm not looking for no smoke. It's YouTube, man, come on. I'm not looking for no problems, whatever. But I will speak the truth, and I'm just here to provide information, try to be entertaining here and there. So it ain't that serious, man. You know, what I'm talking to. It ain't that serious, bro. Hey man, I like a lot of what you do. Some of it I don't care for, and that's my perspective. But no, I'm not trying to stop you from doing what you're doing. I'm just trying to do what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong now. You do, how can I say this? You do trend sometimes, but you're not viral. Just there's a difference between the two, being viral and trending. Okay. But back to the point, right? So I kind of went on topic with that, right? But I was gonna put that out there. You know what I mean? Because just because I don't have as many views or subscribers or whatever, doesn't mean that, my information isn't hard hitting, right? So one thing I want you to understand, man, is that, when you're dealing with this system, right, you have to know what's going on to the best of your ability. You have to study, you have to learn, right? Even if you want to go and get an attorney, right? Because most time you go get an attorney and say, okay, I did this. Well, what happened next? You're totally at their mercy. See what I'm saying? And not saying that they will necessarily do you wrong, but they necessarily won't necessarily do you right either. But that's a case by case basis, right? It also may be depending on what your pocket's looking like, right? But if you know what's going on, or have an idea what's going on, you can go in and say, hey, well, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I'm not looking for. This is what I'm looking to do. This is what I'm not looking to do. It may be unconventional or whatever. They may tell you, well, hey, we can try that way, or this won't be possible, etc. And at that point, it allows you to make a valid and informed decision about where you want to proceed further with this person, or go to the next person, or go on about it yourself, right? Also, right, in order for them to raise a real effective argument for you, whatever, you're going to need to be able to, because with all things that you may be asking, requiring, whatever, like I was told and I've heard, it takes money to file motions. So that's something to think about as well, right? And there is, when you're going into these places, whatever, right? There's the law side of it. Then there's the spiritual side of it, right? Because and a lot of people won't touch on that or go into that because they think, and I wanted to go into that as well, right? Because really, when you're going in there, you're raising your hand, you're swearing to God or whatever. That's like a religious ceremony going on, a religious ritual going on, right? Like, I don't know what God you're talking about. Why do I have to raise my right hand for? Why can't I say, hey, I'm gonna tell the truth or however I want to say it, And then they're on an elevated bench, so with the robe on and stuff like that, that's like, like a priest or something like that, right? Or like ancient Egypt or stuff like that, in Hagris, whatever, with Osiris and Ma'at sitting on the judgment seat. And it's always raised above the person, the petitioner that's coming to them. See what I'm saying? Offering their prayers, So it's a spiritual aspect to it as well as a legal aspect to it and everything, right? And I personally think that all of that matters. Because it's like our court system, from my understanding, legal courts I want to ask, is kind of like a hybrid, because it's a mixture of criminal, civil, and common law. And I heard a lot of definitions of what common law is, and I'm going to define it like this: as a commoner, right? I'm going to define common law as your Declaration of Independence, as your United States Constitution, and your state constitution, 'cause that applies to all men and all people that live within inside the United States. That is your common law, right? Then you have your codified law that comes under the common law, which is all your state statutes and federal statutes and stuff like that, right? But none of that supersedes the common law, because the Declaration of Independence, and it says the Constitution, but the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. So that's when they say they had to harmonize the code with the common law. That's what they're talking about. Because if the common law, being the Constitution of the United States, your state constitution, and Declaration of Independence is the supreme law of the land, that's common law because it's really easy to read and understand or whatever, then the code has to harmonize with that. It means it can't go against it unless they take and replace the common law with the code. And the only way that they can do that, they just can't override it. They have to amend the common law. And this is just my understanding, right? You know what I mean? I'm not giving you any advice on how to proceed, I'm just giving you my perspective, you know what I'm saying, from how I see things. People talk about, so that's one thing, right? So just understanding that, right, what you're dealing with, right? And people are talking about, like, you know, your position in these situations, whatever, whether you're, what's the word they use? I talked about Dane with this as well, right? So we didn't have a chance to get into it and me share my perspective and have him bounce back off of that. I was going to ask him that question as well as give him input and see what he would say. And we still hopefully gonna have this conversation, right? But what I wanted to say is the straw man, right? People say the straw man argument. Who's the straw man? What is a person? You know, I don't know what a person is. I don't. You know, to me, I've read the Latin word. I've read the Latin word from it. You know, but like say person, persona. You know, it's like, you know, not to get too deep into that, right? But it's like, you know, you as an image, I guess, for lack of better words, right? Yes, I believe, to my understanding, that the straw man does exist, right? And the straw man is applicable to everybody, not just you or whatever, because anytime that you step into a legal role dealing with the government, right, you're stepping into your straw man personification. So are they, because at the beginning of the day, the end of the day, what are we really? We are men, we are women, we are girls and boys, male and female. That's what we are, in truth. But the moment you start saying citizen, the moment you start saying judge, lawyer, attorney, police officer, politician, those are all legal personas. Those are all straw men. So in your legal capacity, when you say citizen, you're dealing in legality. That's my perspective, right? So when you do a situation from the perspective of a citizen, you do put yourself under the jurisdiction of the courts, whatever, right? But let me say this about the Constitution and about the Declaration of Independence. People say they got a contract and say it's not a valid contract because I didn't sign it. That's preposterous, right? What the Declaration of Independence is and the Constitution is a trust. It is a contract, but it's a trust contract where you don't have to sign it, because you have your guarantor, your settler, who creates the trust. You have your administrator who administers the trust. Then you have your beneficiary who receives the benefit of the trust that's created. See what I'm saying? But the settler is the one who actually has or owns whatever it is that the beneficiary is getting as this person who is the administrator to administer those benefits to the beneficiary, right? So in this case, your judges, your lawyers, your police officers, whatever, they are the administrators of the trust. And you as a citizen are a beneficiary of that trust. See what I'm saying? But guess what? They're citizens as well, because when they're not in their official capacity or whatever, they're also citizens. They're also beneficiaries of that trust. So I'm saying they also can appeal to the government, whatever, for protection and help and things of that nature, right? In their, you know what I'm saying, citizen capacity, right? Also, right, you are the people, right? The people are who? The settler and the guarantor of the trust. You have two roles. See what I'm saying? Because the trust was set up for your benefit, but we the people have the power. But you have to know how to exercise that power. You know. Now, do you go in there and say all this stuff? No. But you have to know how to apply it when you're actually trying to get things done. You're trying to go. Because what they're doing to you or against you or whatever has to jail with the common law. If it's not, then the common law supersedes that code unless they replace it or amend that common law or whatever, right? See what I'm saying? Because the administrator can do that when they come together. But we or you as the people, whatever, right, can say, hey, I don't want that done. This is what I want done. How do you do that? You do that by going to your stream, go through the process to get to your Supreme Court to say, hey, this is out of whack with the common law. You know, or you go through, or it's where you go through your legislative branch. See what I'm saying? You start talking to your politicians, hey, this needs to be amended, this needs to be fixed. You know what I'm saying? This is not fair. You're acting as the settler, the guarantor, to change the administration, how they administer, you know what I'm saying, the benefit. The benefit is not supposed to, because it's something that's working against you, you're not in the wrong, it's not a benefit to you. See what I'm saying? It's detrimental to you, it's a harm to you. See what I'm saying? You know, but it's under the guise of a benefit. So that's how you get it changed. And so that's one thing that these guys ain't gonna tell you. A lot of them who are selling services, whatever, paperwork and everything, that process. You know, you have educators, you have teachers. See what I'm saying? You have charlatans and shamsters. We already know what charlatans and shamsters will do, or whatever, right? After you get their services, you deal with them, whatever, leave a sour taste in your mouth. And it's no fault to your own, right? There are people who are educators. They provide with information, they tell you what to do or whatever. Hopefully it's effective for you, whatever, and you gain some experience out of it. Hopefully, you know, the experience is a positive, works in your favor. Then you have leaders. Leaders are teachers and educators, and they also go to the front line for you and with you. See what I'm saying? To bring forth the opportunity to fix what is not right and to address what is wrong. One thing about being a leader means that you take the heat. And it's not a great role or position being a leadership position now because of the fact that people are so weak-willed. Men have no resolve. So you step into a leadership and try to defend people, and when the heat is on, people will abandon you. People will hide and stuff like that, and they leave you to fall with no one there to assist you in standing. You know. And then if you come across strong men, whatever, they tend to be fanatical. They want to go to the extreme with a situation or whatever, right? That's going to lead nowhere, ultimately. But to find people who are balanced or whatever, who will stand with you, as you get pelted with rocks and stones, whatever, they're going to take the equal share, whatever, so that the pain and whatever, it just distributed equally. But you know that at the end of the road, there's success. It's hard to find those people, but with those people, you can win. But most of the time, they're going to try to put you out there so, hey, you can take most of the blows. You can be the center of the focus of the pelting and the rock throwing, whatever. And they're taking a little bit every now and then. Ooh, ah, ah. You know, but they know that you're going to take the most of it because what? You're the focus point. Because if they can stone you and knock you down, then they know, hey, everybody else is going to disperse. And that's just what it is. You know, but if you want the system to change, you have to put forth the effort to change it, make it fair for everybody, so everybody benefits from it, right? That what needs to be done. You know. So You are the citizen, and you are the people in your official capacity. You know, you carry just as much as weight as any judge, any police officer, or whatever. You just don't realize that in your official capacity. Hey, I'm a judge. I say that. I say X Y Z. Police officer. I say X Y Z. I'm a citizen. I say X Y Z. You know, my word carries just as much standing as your word, unless I'm proved to be otherwise. You know, if you're proved to be otherwise, whatever, then my word carries more standing than your word does. How can you change the system? Good question, right? When we can change the system, whatever, right? It's like, hey, okay, if you have a family plan or whatever, but a family plan, right? You know what I'm saying? It's supposed to be each person pays into it, right, to take care of the child. So if I'm putting in three, she's putting in two, whatever, right? How do we know that she's putting in her two? What are the checks and balances in there? It should be all on debit cards, and it should be there for the courts to review upon your request. Hey, so how this money being spent? You know, and stuff like that. Where is her $200 that she's supposed to be putting into that? How do we validate that this family plan is effective? Because there's no accountability on her part. That's not fair. That's not balanced. And people say, yeah, you can raise that argument, but it ain't going nowhere. But if you keep raising that argument, and you keep raising that argument, and you keep raising that argument, not just you solely, but everyone keeps raising that argument or whatever, you start going to people about it, politicians and other people, whatever, and getting signatures and stuff like that, then people begin to listen. How else can you change it? You know what I mean? With a lot of our women, indiscriminate of color, there's something that is missing in a lot of them. They're missing that nurturing, motherly spirit that they're supposed to naturally have. I seen lions care for their cubs. Hyenas care for their cubs, their pups. Wild dogs care for their pups. So as we as human beings, the highest form of physical life in this world, how is it that, you have mothers that don't care about their children and are more determined to destroy or hurt the father of the child just because they're angry with him? Don't be the fact that he's right or wrong, but if he's trying to be a good dad to the child and try to be equitable and fair with you, well, I fight against that. If he's those things. And if he's made a mistake or whatever and is irreconcilable, no, it's not, can't fix it, whatever, can't get it out. He can't fix it, whatever, then you move on. I'm just saying. I think that we can't continue to allow the benefits of having a single parent household, whatever, be a way for women to not take care of responsibility. Men kind of simple, right? But for a woman to have children, whatever, if she's in that mental frame, that mental mind state, whatever, it's a benefit to her because she has housing, she'll have food, she'll have health care. They may even give her a job and stuff like that. Give her, I think it's called TANF still, I guess, where she get a monthly stipend and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, man. I don't want to see any children out here homeless, hungry, whatever, right? But what you could do, you grandfather them in, then within 6 months to a year, whatever, you say, okay, this is new law. This is how you start fixing some of this stuff, whatever, right? Listen, as far as you getting social benefits or whatever, we're gonna do the shame on me, shame on you law. Know what I'm saying? You get pregnant once, you can't take care of it. Know what I'm saying? Hey, shame on me. So I'm saying not that's really shame on me, but hey, shame on me. So I'm saying we'll help you out. Now, saying sometimes you're young, you're immature, you make mistakes, whatever. You may double up on that mistake. Okay, this time, shame on you. So I'm saying? At this point here, any child, children that you have beyond that or whatever, make sure that you're prepared to take and care for that child on your own or with your significant other. And if you want to have children with this person, whatever, then you understand the risk of having children with this person, whatever, at the third. Because now we got women get 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 children out of wedlock with different men, stuff like that. The only thing is breeding is unfortunately, a breakdown in our communities and breakdown society, whatever. Because these children don't have the resources that they need. They don't have the guidance that they need. A lot of times they're subjected to things that no child should be subjected to. We don't have to get into all of that. But yeah, man, this video is longer than I expected it, so I'm getting off here, man. But that's just some things I want to share with y'all. All right, peace. Oh yeah, man, make sure that you like my videos.